Hi everyone, I'm Tommy Andreasen. I've been working on LEGO Ninjago stories, concepts, TV show production, and I also like to draw. And that's what I'm gonna do today. I'm gonna draw this strange looking skeleton warrior kind of guy. And I will be using pens instead of pencil. Let's get started. So, I start with a head. That's a square. Here's the arm. There's that little wrist thing. That's the hand. And I want him to be kicking towards someone. So I'm gonna go really weird with the angle on the leg here. This is not something a normal figure would be able to do. I'm gonna add some sort of weird, dramatic sword in his hand here. Now I have my basic shape. I'm gonna go over it with my pen. You'll notice that I am sloppy with this. Doesn't matter at this point. And I'm gonna improvise a bit with the sword here. I'm gonna make it a really nasty and brutal one. Now I'm getting to the leg. I want to make sure he's kicking, so this is going to be a pretty straight line. There we go. Now I have that basic shape down. This is the point where I want to start adding in some details. I'm going to have a look at this guy again. I don't want to be super accurate, but I'll get some of that in there to add some flavor. On his face we had those nasty teeth. So you can now see the details are starting to come together. You can actually see there's some personality going on. I think I'm happy with this for now. So I'm gonna go over some of those with a wider pen. I'm gonna draw mostly on the left side of all my shapes because I think that gives a nice direction to the figure and it helps define it. Color in the eyes here, so he looks really nasty. I'm gonna go back and forth here. And then when I get down here, I'll start to space out my lines a little more. I'm just gonna do it on the body as well, just to add some weight to the body here. It's very sketchy, but then what you can do is you can add to it some very, very fine lines that has a very neat direction to it. It starts to take the sloppiness out of it. And I'll do the same thing over the sword here. It's kind of like reflective metal. It starts with very, very tight space between the lines and then I kind of taper it out. I think what I'll also do now is I'll take the fat pen here and I'll do a shadow below him. And you can actually see how that really does something for the dynamic of him. Now you understand that he's up in the air because he's leaping and kicking. So let's say he was starting here and now he's leapt over and kicked this way. So I'll make a movement line here. That's kind of tracking this part of the foot and then one here. So now you get an idea of how he swept his leg across there. I might just add a few details to the background here. So let's say we have some cliffs here, little ground here. Now you see where he leapt off from. I can add one of these swirly clouds. Obviously you can keep going with stuff like this, but I think the point of this is that it's a lot of fun to draw fast. So don't be afraid to attack the paper. You can make a virtue out of it and that's what it needs to be. And now we can add some color to it if we feel like it. There you have it. Bone warrior kind of guy with pens. And don't forget to go and watch some of the other videos from my friends on storytelling, composition, colors, layout and so forth. Have fun and ninja draw!